So we did a test drive. We're trying to figure out if we can put an O3D 3D point cloud sensor on the end of a robot arm and sense different things in a palletizing cell. So we want to be able to do things like sense a case, orientation, size, location, stack height of just kind of like a random like stack of pallets, stack height of things like slip sheets, other things you might put on a pallet. We also want to be able to see if we can use it at the end of arm to check what the height is for a layer in progress. So do a layer, check the height, see how much it's compressed and as you go up in the stack. We also wanted to integrate an iPad application, see if we could communicate with the camera and get information, send commands. So here we go. So you can kind of see behind me, I've got this Manfrotto arm, the O3D sensor. So I'm going to go ahead and connect to it. I'm going to move the dog out of the way. So I kind of have in mind when you use like a robot pick and place, let's say we want to sense the cases and pick them up. What's nice about the pick and place application is that you can transform the coordinates of the object from the camera frame to like a world frame. So in this case, I'm just going to do positive edge trigger since I have a hardwired connection. We get a, yep, I'm going to look for a rectangle. That's fine. So I'm going to move my teach boundary over here. Okay, yeah, you can have discrete outputs as well as signaling over Ethernet for certain things. I'm going to keep both of those. That's fine. All this stuff is going to be concatenated in a string over TCP/IP. And I'm going to move the dog out of the way. Okay, so now we have an application. So if I come over here, trigger this trigger on my keypad, see it gives you like a 3D point cloud here. If I kick a box under here, shows me my results. So now let's say I wanted to create another application here. Call that one app 1, call my new one app 2. And for the second app, you just keep the same teach frame, that's fine. Normally you would create another application if in a real life case, we would be moving the camera to different positions and we would be teaching different reference planes and potentially different coordinate transformations. In this case, I'm just going to keep it simple, not going to reteach anything. And I'm going to put a palette in there now. Let's see what that gives us. So obviously this field of view is pretty limited. It doesn't pick up the whole palette. I would have to raise this far up, but I can sense the height really consistently, even if I have a narrow field of view. I don't need to necessarily sense the entire pile of whatever it is that I'm looking at. Okay, let's say that I wanted to add a couple of more different applications. So if I wanted to be able to switch back and forth between these at runtime, just by using 2 different discrete inputs, I map those to my keypad over there. You can see I'm on app 1, app 2, 4, 3. So, you could take a picture of one thing on the robot, move to something else, switch applications during the move, trigger. It's going to work pretty well. So the second part, we wanted to be able to communicate with this camera directly using an iPad, which is pretty revolutionary. So Patrick, you want to take it over?
Yeah, thanks, Jonathan. On the surface, it's pretty simple. The core of what this is doing is it's setting up a connection all the way from Colorado to Jonathan's house and the O3D camera via TCP. And it's doing its own query based on button press, which you can see hitting over here, which will trigger and query basically new data from the camera. And then if you move the box, Jonathan, we should be able to see some change. Yep. So we can just basically do triggers, slightly changes, and yeah. That's about it. There's a lot of other stuff you can do too. Oh yeah.
And now it should show object found false. Yep.
Box is gone. Sad days. So that's how that works. This is just sort of like a partial implementation. A full implementation would also include things like being able to change the active application via the process interface and via the HMI as well, and actually do stuff with this data. I think the pixel data is available as well. So you could also build up a point cloud. That was interesting. But yeah, so that's the prove out for the iPad. That's about it. So I'm going to stop sharing and give that back to you, Jonathan.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks. This was fun. I guess we'll continue to keep wrenching away on stuff and keep everybody posted with what we find out.
Can you do a 3D scan of the dog?
Yeah, let's do that. All right. Oh, he's right there. All right, Patrick, hit it. That wasn't that satisfying. Oh, well. Good boy.